Reimagining Success, episode 220, mini-series 5. You're listening to the Reimagining Success podcast, where we help you design a business and a life that allows you freedom from the 9 to 5. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg, ex-corporate good girl, now a business mentor and coach, author, mum of 2, and I'm here to help you create more freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment. Now let's get started with redefining success outside of the 9 to 5. Hello there and welcome back to the 5th and final episode of our mini podcast series this week, celebrating the launch of my book Outside of the 9 to 5. And so let's do a recap of the full week. We looked at Pillar 1, identifying your personal definition of success. Pillar 2, cultivating confidence and resilience. Pillar 3, choosing the right business model. Pillar 4, yesterday, was building an effective personal brand. Pillar 5 today is designing flexible work-life integration. And in a way, we're actually coming back full circle to Pillar 1 and your definition of success, because we already talked about the balance that you're trying to achieve across those different areas of your life. And now we're getting quite concrete, very tangible, this one actually, as we dig into how you can plan and structure your life to anchor your big picture vision into your day-to-day habits and routines. Because again, what we don't want to do is have a strategy or a vision on a piece of paper that's all hunky-dory, but the things that you actually spend your time on day in, day out are what's going to get you the results. So if the day-to-day reality isn't matching your vision, then you're just never going to get there. And I know that the idea of routine and structure might be really horrible to you, because perhaps you're rebelling, as I did, against the very rigid kind of corporate 9 to 5 that we're escaping, right? However, I hope I can persuade you here as well that a little bit of structure is actually what's going to give you that freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment that I'm always talking about. So first, though, before I get into the practical details and the steps of this pillar, I do want to touch on the broader concept of work-life integration, because most of you are probably more familiar with the idea of work-life balance, and I just want to quickly explain why I prefer integration. So that phrase work-life balance is very popular, right? But I really feel that it creates a false dichotomy between work on the one hand of the scales, right, and then life on the other. You really visualize that balance right away. So where you're trying to create a perfect equilibrium between your career or job on the one side and then your personal life on the other. And the thing is, and if you're familiar, again, if you've been listening to my podcast, I've talked before about the different areas of your life where we think about well-being, relationships, learning, career, fun, and so on. Work is actually only one part of your life. It's certainly not separate to your life, that you can just kind of juxtapose with life on the other side. And it's also not just a zero-sum game where more life, as I think many employers assume, means more life, more fun, and more family, and so on, means less work, less success, less productivity, and so on, which I think is completely wrong. And the reality is so much more complex. Within our personal life, we have family, friends, hobbies, extracurricular activities, travel, as well as, life admin, personal development, and so on. We might even be making an impact in our personal life because we're volunteering or we have a side hustle or something, right? So other income streams outside of that day job. And then on the other side of the coin, within work, there's a lot more going on than just, heading to work and getting paid. We have relationships at work. It affects our mental and physical well-being and vice versa. And I know, shocker, we might even have fun in the office. So for me, separating those two things is just ludicrous, to be honest. I prefer work-life integration because at a really basic level, of course, this has become possible thanks to tech, right? So the internet means you can check your emails on your laptop, your phone, you can work from anywhere. Unfortunately, that may lead to you being always on and never taking a break. And that's, of course, not a positive development. But on the other hand, if you're able to work after hours at home, and if that means you can use part of your working day to go to the gym, to run errands, to pick up your children from school, to meet your sister for lunch, whatever, then that suddenly becomes a much more attractive proposition. And the beauty of designing your own business, which is what we're doing here, is that you can fully embrace this idea of work-life integration, right? You don't have to follow that rigid Monday to Friday 9 to 5 routine anymore. You can break free from what is a pretty outdated construct and make things work more flexibly for you. Above all, integration means striving for harmony between those different areas of your life, right? So it's not that zero sum, it's really harmonious, it's synergies between the two. I definitely don't subscribe to that view that being a successful high achiever at work means that you have to sacrifice time with your family, your own health. Or on the other side, that making time for your children, your well-being, has to mean giving up on your professional ambitions. there are absolutely synergies between these different areas. They're just not in competition. It's a fallacy that, unfortunately, dare I say it, some often white older men seem to be perpetuating in our society. So the first step in pillar 4 is designing, or rather getting clear on your priorities so that you can design this integration, right? So we're looking at, of course, the priorities within your business, but also, as ever, the priorities within your life more broadly, right? So what are the things that need to be on your calendar every day, every week for you to reach your goals, to make your business work for you, essentially, and for your life? Second step is looking at setting boundaries. So it's all very well to have all these ambitious goals and ideas about what you want your life to look like. If you can't set clear boundaries, though, if you can't say no, there won't be any space for the yes, the right yes, and you're just not going to get there. So when I talk about integration between work and life, to be clear, I'm not saying that you need to blur the lines completely. I'm not talking about working in your bed and on your holidays at the park with your kids. There is still a line to be drawn. But the good news is that you get to choose where you draw that line. And certainly I drew it in different ways when I was young and single and carefree than I do now with my kids and my partner. Then we'll look at systems. I know it's not a sexy topic, but the operational processes and tools that will help you to simplify, streamline and automate are actually the systems that are going to allow you to focus on what really matters. So both the type of work that you love doing in your business and the work that will make the biggest difference for you and for clients, but also, of course, freeing up your time then to live your life outside of your business. And the final step here on the final pillar is to really look at delegating and outsourcing. We're generally not talking about business here where you're going to have physical offices and, a team of 50 on the payroll and so on. We're looking at maybe using assistants, freelancers, perhaps associates in a loose structure in a way that's going to help you focus on what you really want to and should be doing. So those are the 4 steps of the final pillar. We've got getting clear on your priorities, setting healthy boundaries, creating systems and processes, and delegating and outsourcing. And with that, those are the 5 pillars of the book of building a business outside of the 9 to 5. Again, one more time, please let me say this one more thing. You can get Outside of the 9 to 5, of course, at your local Amazon. You can also go to outsidethe9to5.com and that will redirect you. But Outside the 9 to 5, your practical guide to designing and building a profitable business that gives you freedom, flexibility and fulfillment. So thank you for listening this week to my mini series. Love to hear your feedback, so you can email me at podcast@onestepoutside.com or connect with me on your favourite social media. I would love for you to grab your copy of the book. Again, I really recommend the paperback so you can scribble in the margins. The Kindle will be available today, in fact, so grab that as well if you prefer that. Grab both, why not? At half price today, the paperback, so you can grab both copies. The audio version I will work on. I'll need to find out how to do that, but I do think that's a good option. Certainly I listen to a lot of books. However, to really work through it practically, I very much recommend grabbing the paperback book, or the Kindle. You can also highlight that, can't you, and take screenshots and things. And of course, as I mentioned earlier in the week, the Business Academy is really the companion course for this. So if you want to apply what you've read, really implement it, work through in a more interactive way that's going to take you step by step through these 4 steps on each of the 5 pillars and actually apply them in your business, then go to onestepoutside.com/course to read more about the Business Academy, to start learning now. It's a self-directed course working through the 5 pillars. And again, it's very much mirroring the content in the book. So I hope you'll join me in congratulating myself for achieving publication of this book last year. It's been, as you can imagine, a labour of love. I'm really excited, above all, of course, selfishly for my own personal satisfaction, because it's been hard work in the past year to get this done. But I really have enjoyed, if not every minute, I've enjoyed a lot of it. Many thanks. I'm going to take the moment now to thank, of course, the designers on 99 Designs who helped me with the book cover. I have Alison, I'll try to put these links on the website, who helped me with the graphics inside. Cara on my team has been hugely supportive as well. Everyone in my mastermind, anyone who's offered to read and leave a review as well. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I leave you with the hope that this will be an incredible resource for you, whether you're just starting out or you're further along. I think, there's a lot of insight in there a consolidation essentially of years of learning and experience. So I really hope that you find it valuable. Again, if you do read it, please do leave a review on Amazon. Send me a note if you'd like to. I'll reply to each of you individually. I'd love to hear from you. And then, watch the space. Let's see what the next book will be. But thank you so much for your support. We'll be back for the normal weekly podcast episode next week and moving on to exciting things this year. Outside the 9 to 5, you can grab it now on Amazon. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Bye for now. Outside of the 9 to 5 is the book that continues the story from leaving the corporate 9 to 5. It is a practical guide to designing and building a profitable business that gives you freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment. Check it out and grab your copy at outsideofthe9to5.com. That's outsideofthe9to5.com.